Hey everybody, come sing a song with me. Here's our note. La. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll sing a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know you're mine. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. A rose in the winter time. Thank you.
Welcome to United First Parish Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, welcome to our Unitarian Universalist spiritual community. Hi, I'm Joan McDonald, Director of Religious Education at UFPC in Quincy. We will light our chalice with these words. We light this flame, this symbol of energy, of light, of life, to remind us of the energy within us, of the light of our life, of the light that is in us, of the light that is us. And now we will share our covenant, the agreement that members and friends of United First Parish Church say when we gather together, that describes how we want to be together as a community and as how we want to be together and work in this world. As a free fellowship of this historic church, we unite to lift our hearts and open our minds to a larger reality, to accept, support, and encourage one another, to seek the wisdom in all religions, to cherish and sustain the web of life, and to strive for justice, compassion, and peace. And now we'll prepare for meditation. So if you have some wiggles, maybe you want to get those wiggles out and then sit up or even lay back. This is actually a good one to lay on your back on the floor and maybe with your eyes closed, maybe with your arms outstretched. And as you're getting ready, we'll listen to the singing bowl as you breathe deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth as we prepare for meditation. And as you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and you're resting on your back with your arms out, imagine that you're in water. Close your eyes and feel your legs and your arms and even your head floating and turning in the water. And the water is warm and comfortable. And you're just floating. Maybe you're floating in the pond or on a lake, or maybe you're even floating on a river or the ocean, and you're safe and you're warm and you're comfortable and you're just floating. And maybe when you move your arms or your legs and you're just rippling, and maybe you're swirling, because you can move your arms and your legs and your head as you're floating on your back. And maybe you can just make yourself spin around a little bit safely. And you're breathing in and out, in and out. And imagine where you're floating. And it's just calm and warm. And maybe you can hear the water lapping against the shore. Maybe there's a waterfall that's falling down. Maybe it's splashing you a little bit. You're feeling those drops on your skin, on your face. And floating like that is calming, and maybe you feel free. And maybe you're rocking back and forth. The water's just soothing. And you're breathing in and out. And you're just floating. Maybe you're enjoying feeling the sun shining on your face and the water lapping against your sides and your arms. Maybe you're just kind of swirling it, and maybe you're moving a little bit, but it's safe and you're warm and you're relaxed. And as you breathe in and out, maybe you're slowly coming to shore and you land on the beach. And you sit up in the sand and you breathe in and out. You're feeling the sun drying you off. And you feel peaceful inside. So I will again be sharing the music that Leah Morris created for Beloved Community, Part of Me. And maybe you remember the words that I shared last time. The words go like this: Father, mother, sister, brother, all are part of me. Teacher, friend, here within, all a part of me. I love myself as I love you. we touch each other, make life true. I'm part of this community, and it is a part of me.
Father, mother, sister, brother.
Father, mother, sister, brother.
All are part of me.
All are part of me.
Teacher, friend, here within, they are all a part of me.
Teacher, friend, here within, they are all a part of me.
I love myself as I love you.
I love myself as I love you.
We touch each other and make life true.
We touch each other and make life true.
I am part of this community. It is part of me. I am part of this community. It is part of me.
Today, I want to share with you a story that a musician and worship leader, Matt Meyer, tells. The title is The Story of the Samba. And Matt is a great musician, and you have seen some of the drumming pieces he has shared in other children's chapels that I've done. And he's telling the story of how the samba, which is a type of music, was created.
I'd like to tell you a story about Brazilian music, because Brazilian music is some of my favorite music in the entire world. And part of why I love it so much is that there are so many different groups of people living together in Brazil. And over the years, they've learned to share their different ideas about music, so that today, Brazilian music sounds unlike any other music in any other part of the world. So today, I'd like to tell you the story of just two of these groups of people in Brazil. So you can pick whichever group you'd like to be a part of at home and join me for their role in this story. The first group is the Portuguese. The Portuguese from Europe. When they first came to Brazil, they loved European music, of course. And in Europe, people were, and still mostly are, interested in the part of music that's all about how the different notes sound when you play them together at the same time. How the notes sound when you play them together is called harmony. And they were so interested in harmony that they named every note, so that when you were teaching music to a student, you could tell what the purpose of every note was just by its name. So, for all you Portuguese out there, I'd like to teach you a song that sounds maybe a little bit like what the Portuguese might have first sung when they first came to Brazil. It starts out like this. Do, sol, fa, mi. Let's try that. Do, sol, fa, mi. And then do, sol, fa, mi, re. Try that. Do, sol, fa, mi, re. And then do, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, do. That whole thing. Do, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, do. One more time. Do, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, do. Beautiful. Now that song sounds like a lot of European music because it has a similar structure. It starts out on the tonic, goes up to the dominant fifth, finishes the major triad on the 3, then it has a subdominant 4 before 2-5-1 cadence, which is fairly standard. But maybe we'll cover that at a different time. Now, the Yoruba were from West Africa. And the Yoruba were much more interested in a very different part of music. The part of music that was all about when you play the notes. How are the notes grouped together or spaced out? Or how do they sound grouped together when played by different instruments at different times? When you play the notes is called rhythm. So your song goes like this. Da 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 da. Da, da, da. You got it. But the Yoruba were also interested in how music felt in their bodies. Not just how music sounded in their ears or how they thought about it in their heads, but how it felt in their physical bodies. And how music was a way to bring people to be together, physically be together to take care of each other and sing or dance or celebrate or grieve when they needed to. And so we're going to add our bodies just a little bit and go like this. Da 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 da. You got it. So we have these two groups of people living together in Brazil, each with their own unique style of music. And that would have been fine, except that there was a problem. And the problem was the Portuguese, who had all of the land and all of the money and all of the power, they didn't really think that the Yoruba song was any good. And, well, in fact, they didn't think anything the Yoruba ever did was any good. And because they had the land and the money and the power, they said, Yoruba, you can't play your music. But the Yoruba knew how important music was to their celebrations and their grieving and how they told stories and how they gathered together and took care of each other. So they said, we're going to play our music anyway. Well, over the years, the Portuguese tried to get the Yoruba to stop playing. They took their drums away. They threw them in jail for making music. They yelled at them. They were mean to them. But in spite of all of those things, the Yoruba kept on playing their music no matter what. And they were so persistent for so long that eventually some things began to shift. Some things began to change. Eventually there were some Portuguese that began to listen to the Yoruba songs a little more carefully. And some of them thought, hey, maybe we can learn something from the Yoruba. At the same time, there were some Yoruba listening to that Portuguese music, and some of them said, hey, maybe we can learn something from the Portuguese. There were a few people that, even though no one around them wanted them to listen to those who were different from them, that even though no one around them wanted them to work with those who were different from them, a few people went against the grain. And they said, maybe we can learn something from those that are different from us. There were some Portuguese that said, maybe we can learn something from the Yoruba, and the Yoruba who said, maybe we can learn something from the Portuguese. And some of these radicals happened to be musicians. And they thought, well, maybe we can share our ideas. Maybe we can use your harmony and our rhythm. Maybe we can play your instruments, but in new ways. Maybe we can take some of your music and some of our music and put it together and see what that sounds like. Portuguese, do you still remember your song? If you've forgotten, that's okay. It was about 300 years ago in the story. Let's try them together. Do, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, do. Do, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, do. In the Yoruba, da 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 da. Da 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 da. I'm going to grab my Brazilian tauntaun here and let's hear it all together. Do, sol, fa, mi, re, sol, do. 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 And that's how the Yoruba and the Portuguese came together to create a new style of music called samba that was unlike anyone in the world had ever heard before. And that's part of why I love Brazilian music so much. I also think it's a good reminder for us as Unitarian Universalists to know that when we come together in community, in whatever ways we gather, we create something greater than the sum of our parts. And when we reach out beyond the borders and the barriers that divide us and expand that circle of beloved community even further, well, then we can change the world around us in ways that we could never do just on our own. Thank you for helping me with this story.
I thought that was a great story about how two different cultures, two communities of people can bridge the distance between themselves and create something new. And that is really the theme in many ways of the beloved community, about how different people can move together, can build a bridge between each other, which means find a way of communicating and sharing and telling their stories And in the story that Matt told, the bridge was music, and how music from two different cultures can blend together and create something new. So what might you do to learn about somebody else, or to understand and share those stories? And it might be through art, it might be through music, it might be games, maybe playing in the playground. What is it that you could do that could help you and somebody else understand each other better? And also think about what you might learn from people who are different from you. So if you just don't understand another person, maybe they speak a different language, maybe they live in a different part of town, maybe they live in a different country. And how do you learn? What do you learn about them? And it could be that you learn about their language, could be that you learn about how the kind of food that they cook, the kind of music they play, the games that they play. Maybe children from different countries play different games. Maybe you discover that you play similar games. I wonder what you could think of that would be fun to share with somebody that is very different from you, and what you can learn from them. And we will close our time together with these words, and we'll extinguish the chalice. We now extinguish this flame, not our energy. We extinguish this flame, but not the light in our life. We extinguish this flame, but not the light that is within us. Until we meet again,